Jared, you're nominated for Walter Payton Man of the Year. I guess just where does that stack up for you amongst other accolades and awards you've won?
Yeah, very humbling. It's, it's hard to put into words, what it means, but it's very cool. It's my second time getting nominated, and a lot of guys that could have been nominated on our team, a lot of guys that are doing a lot of good in the community, and it's an honor to be nominated.
The relationships you have with so many of these kids, we see them at camp, we see them in the videos where they announce it to you.
Yeah.
You've made a heck of an impact, but it's something that I think we can kick back to you. What kind of impact does this community have the kids that you've affected made on you?
Yeah, a ton. That's a good question. I love being able to support where I can, but the how much they've meant to me has been so fun and rewarding, and being able to spend time with them when I can, but ultimately just see them thrive is so cool.
Talk about Buffalo and what they bring to the table this week, Jared.
Yeah, they're a tough group, really tough group. Obviously, they're one of the top teams in the AFC, and hell of a group, good defense, and very well coached, good on offense as well, and it'll be good.
Even though you guys are 12-1, every game's going to be big now because all the other teams aren't losing, they're right behind you. Does that keep you on edge or at edge, or is it get kind of weary?
No, it certainly pushes us, right? Like, yeah, we have to keep winning. We'd love to say, at 12-1, our division's wrapped up, but it's not even close.
Right.
We got two teams on our heels that are pushing us pretty hard, and we got to keep winning. And I'm sure they're just waiting for us to lose.
There's been a lot of personnel changes in Buffalo's defense since the last time you guys played them. Do you see anything differently from how defense plays? I know it's still Sean McDermott making the scheme. So do you see anything differently from the last time you guys played Buffalo?
Sure, yeah, a little bit different. Still, they are who they are, and we know that. And I think they're extremely sound, extremely well coached. You can tell that a lot of these guys have been in that scheme for quite some time, and they know what they're doing.
Jared, Dan was talking about the collaborative nature of the culture here and how much he tries to listen and his staff tries to listen. What has that meant to you? And do you have any examples of
Sure,
that?
I mean, that's one of the biggest things here that makes it so fun to play here and to be a part of this, winning culture we have, is that they listen to us and they are collaborative. And we've talked at length about the stuff that Ben and I do and the work we do, but I know on defense there's guys over there that are constantly talking to AG and Shep and those guys and seeing what they can add or help with or ideas they have. And, I personally come up with a lot of ideas. They don't always get used, but sometimes they do, and those ones are fun, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of, the building process on offense.
Jared, kind of closing in on the end of the season here, you're one of 4, 5, 6 people that's talked about as like having an MVP type season, being in that mix. I'm just wondering, what does that mean to you, like at this stage of your career, after all you've been through, to at least be in the conversation?
Yeah, to be honest, not much. I mean, it's sure, I've been playing well, and a lot of guys have been playing well, though. If you're a quarterback on a good team, you're probably going to be in that conversation. And it's a credit to all the guys on this squad. We've had a really good year up to this point, got to finish it off, and sure, it's cool to be recognized in some ways, but it doesn't really mean anything, and we want to be holding that trophy at the end of the year, and nothing else really matters.
Josh is another guy that's obviously in it, just your thoughts on what he's done.
He's a stud. He's a stud, man. He really is. He's their engine, and tough to stop. Our defense is going to do what they can.
How much does a great offense put pressure on another great offense in a game?
Yeah, it can. Sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, if they score a ton of points, we got to score a ton of points, and vice versa. If we score a ton of points, they got to score a ton of points. I think you see that game last week that they played in. The Rams scored 40-something, and they had to kind of try to play catch up at the end, and sure enough, they were able to, and almost made it close. But yeah, absolutely.
Jared, a little something that's offbeat. We saw your head coach Dan Campbell have literally a look-alike contest. Guys came out. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
In Detroit.
All right.
Where
was it
22
at?
contestants in Detroit that came out and
All right.
looking like Dan Campbell. So I'm asking you this: for somebody to be as successful as Dan Campbell, what's like some traits?
Oh man.
Something that
Well, the facial hair, right? Like you got to have the goatee and the mustache. Big dipping, always. big chewing. The smile, the way he smiles, and his big wide smile. Yelling at guys if they're not doing what they're supposed to do. I don't know. That's funny. I'd love to see that.
How cool is that to have him have like a cult following like that, for you to see it from the time he got here to
Yeah, it's
guys
cool.
having him look like.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. He's a hell of a leader for us and a hell of a head coach, and I know he's got a ton of fans, and rightfully so.
Jack, you have a couple more guys? I was asking about Ben, as far as what you said about sharing ideas and what's. Have you ever thought about getting into coaching maybe down the road? Is that something that you would Maybe TV analyst.
I'm in year 9 of my NFL career, and I have not thought about coaching at any point. You know, you can hit me up in like 15 years, and we'll see where I'm at. But no, right now I'm very happily playing, and I haven't thought about coaching. No, at all. I haven't.
How much though is he expanding your, I guess, your appreciation of the offense and the complexity and all that? Have you locked any of that away as far as whether you might use it down the road, you know, TV coaching or whatever?
Sure, yeah. I think, you know, I've been lucky to be around a lot of great offensive minds, and he's absolutely one of them. And he's certainly changed the way I see the game. And we very much see the game very similarly, but a lot of concepts that we do offensively that I hadn't done before, and then coming here and him teaching them to me and why they work versus this, that, or the other has certainly, you know, changed the way I see certain things and changed my approach in a lot of ways. And the way he's pushed me, you know, I can't ask for much more.
Can that nuance give you an edge?
In what way?
Well, maybe in a more successful way.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, we're going back now a handful of years, but I've got my history with the Rams, and then he's got his history with, you know, the places he's been, and we were able to meld some of it together, and create what we're in now. And yeah, it's constantly evolving, constantly changing. But yeah, sure, we have a lot of different viewpoints, and it's not just him. There's a ton of coaches up there that have been around the league that have a lot of different views on the way they've done things. And when you have a lot of great minds coming together, it's a good thing.
Jared, Scotty Montgomery was talking earlier today, and he said a lot of guys on this team, you and St. Brown, have what he calls a clutch gene, like those late game moments, and maybe that's partly why he's so confident going for it on fourth down. Do you think there is a clutch gene, and what creates it? Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know if I know that's like the phrasing, the clutch gene. Like, is it in my DNA? I don't know. I mean, or is it in anyone's DNA? I don't know. I think it's the ability to like know when those moments are, and to not change who you are or what you're doing. And I think Dan talks about it all the time. Like, a lot of people, when pressure happens, you know, their heart rate spikes, and they do something out of the ordinary, or they try to do too much. And I think, you know, what I try to do is try to remain the same. And I think I do a pretty good job of that. But it's, you know, a constant work in progress. And yeah, it's hard. But I think it's, you know, guys either have it or they don't. And I hope to think that I have it.
Enjoys seeing contact from other guys. You're going to get a full dose of
no
Josh
doubt.
Allen this week.
No doubt about it. Yeah, and I feel like it starts up front too. Their offensive line's physical. Their backs are physical. So, and obviously Josh Allen, and I feel like their tight ends do a good job blocking, and they got receivers who are willing to block, which is kind of unusual in today's game. So, I mean, it's a physical outfit. It's going to be a challenge, but we're excited for it. It's going to be a great opportunity.
How are you doing back there with all the new faces that you have next to you?
It's awesome. It's honestly just been such an awesome, not an awesome situation because you don't want to see people get hurt, but like just seeing new guys step in, been here for 3 days playing, and we're just holding that same standard. Obviously we have things to improve on, and we always got things that we need to work on, but we just got 11 guys right now defensively who are just flying around and having fun, and I'll kind of leave it at that.
A lot of guys will say they'd like to see Buffalo get one-dimensional, but how can you make Josh Allen a one-dimensional guy? He can throw it and run it.
Yeah, no, it's hard to do with him. I mean, we got our work cut out for us. I mean, he just does a phenomenal job of extending plays with not only his legs, but he's got a cane of his arm is unbelievable too. So this is really just honestly a unique player in this league, and we have our work cut out for us. So it's just going to come down to like doing our job at the highest level and containing them. So.
Can you speak to the resiliency of this defense? You guys got so many guys on IR. I guess starting with Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
What has he done to help you guys stay in attack mode no matter who's out there?
I mean, he just always reassures us that the standards never change, and like we all know that. So I feel like it starts right there with him. And then what stuck out with me was after the game, Coach Campbell called us the Northern Savages, and I'm just like, we really are. Like, you just got a bunch of guys who are just out there flying around and having fun. So I'm going to keep going with the Northern Savage thing. I think that thing's sick. So you just got a bunch of hungry guys out there who always are looking to improve and just love the game of football. So
did he make that up or somebody else?
I don't know. He just said it. He definitely had to make it up. I think it's badass though. Yeah.
Some people talked about this as a potential like Super Bowl preview. I don't know if somebody asked this already, but just does that add? Do you think it is? And if so, what does that change about?
Honestly, right now the approach I feel like myself and the whole team is taking just one game at a time. whatever week it is, I don't even know. But just taking it 1 week at a time, because ultimately if you want to get to where you want to get, winning and getting like seeding for playoffs and stuff like that, like that's important. But ultimately you want to win week in and week out, and that's the main focus and the main goal. And this week it's going to be the Bills, and it's going to be a tough challenge. So just getting ready to play and have our full focus on the Bills and nothing else.
That said, I mean, you guys still haven't locked up a number 1 seed. They're still in the chase for a number 1 seed in the AFC. You have the Vikings at the end of the year. How do games like this, though, get you ready for what is to come, since you have already locked up a playoff spot?
And I would say I feel like this time of the year, if you got teams fighting for the playoffs and stuff like that, it's more like a playoff game, I would say. I feel like you're going to get best play calls on both sides. You're going to get guys going 100 miles an hour like every week. But I would just say it's more of like a playoff atmosphere, I feel like. Just a little bit less generic play calling on my end, how I see stuff. So it's going to be a challenge. We're just going to have to keep our discipline and just stay locked in. So.
Jack, we had a chance to talk to Kelvin Shepard.
Yeah.
When you reflect on working with him the last couple of years,
Yeah.
what do you think if he gets his opportunity? What about him will give him a chance to be a good defensive coordinator?
Yeah, no, Coach Shep, I mean, the day I stepped in the building, he's always pushed me, but at the same time, like, made sure that I like feel appreciated and like encouraged me. So he's just a great guy, a great coach, and he's earned everything that he's got. So I can't tell you what the future holds. I'm never going to be a coach, so I'm never going to be like a head coach, promote people, so I don't really know what to look for. But, I mean, he shows up, works hard, holds people to standards, and I feel like that's all you can really ask for. So, I mean, he's just done a fantastic job. And, I mean, I hope he stays my linebacker coach for as long as I play. But if not, congratulations to him. So, yeah.
With how things go around here, how long until Northern Savages is on a T-shirt?
Yeah, that's true. You got to talk to Kirby Joseph about that. He'll probably make that. So I don't know, but I just think that's so badass. So, and I don't even need a T-shirt. I'm just gonna walk around like I'm a Northern Savage. So. Yeah. Why do I call it badass?
Yeah, what do you like?
Dude, have you ever heard of Northern Savages? It's just like a group of like defense. And it's again just like you get guys who have been here for like literally 3 days and they just step in and do a hell of a job. So I think it's just sick. So
Dan Campbell said earlier that you guys relish in an opportunity like what's to come on Sunday. What is it about going up against an offense like this that is top 2 in scoring, and how much does facing your offense in practice help what you're about to see?
Yeah, no, I mean, every day when we go up against our offense, they give us the best look. They're the best offense in the NFL for sure. I mean, I might be biased, but just the Bills, I mean, they got the same thing. They got weapons everywhere. Again, Josh Allen, it starts with him, but they got backs who are elusive. They got a couple of receivers we need to look out for, and a really solid tight end core. And again, it starts up front, and they got a physical front. So we're going to have our hands full, but again, I feel like we see the best in our practice and just need to take that to the game. So
Thanks, Josh. For that Berlin game.
Are we playing it?
Not officially, but they announced Berlin's getting a game.
I saw that. Shoot, if we get the game, it's gonna be crazy. A lot of tickets.
You got a big one this week. The Bills have really reinvented themselves, but Josh Allen's still there. They've been a fun team to watch. What's the matchup against that Buffalo team like this year?
They're a good team. I mean, I think it starts with Josh Allen. Obviously, he's been having a heck of a season. But all around, I think they're playing good football. They had a tough game last week against the Rams, but it was back and forth. I mean, came down to the last play, but they're a good team, good defense. They play really hard, so it's gonna be a good matchup.
Say these are the top 2 scoring offenses in the league. I mean, you guys are never going to be on the field at the same time, offense versus offense. But when you have a great offense going up against another one, how much pressure does that put on the other one whenever you get into the game?
Yeah, I mean, we just have to try to take care of business when we're out there as an offense. Try to put up points, good field position, 3 points, whatever it is. Don't turn the ball over. Take care of the ball. Try to avoid 3 and outs. And try to keep our defense off the field, obviously. But at the end of the day, we're going to be on the field. Defense is going to be in the field, and our special team. So we're going to have to bring it in all 3 units. But like you said, 2 good offenses. You try to score as many points as you can.
You guys played Buffalo in a Thanksgiving Classic a couple years ago. What do you remember about that game and just where you guys were at as a team at that point?
Yeah, that game was – I remember that game. It was back and forth. And I remember we ended up getting a big field goal. And they went down and scored with I think less than a minute left. They got a field goal and ended up beating us. But It was a back and forth game all game. We almost came out, with the W, but they ended up, like they had that long, deep pass to Stephon Diggs over the middle, and then, like I said, they kicked the field goal and won. But it was back and forth. That was a fun game, but excited to play them again. They're a good team. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
You guys are 12-1. Most teams at this point have looked and already said, okay, we've clinched our division in years past. But I mean, this race at the top is wild. Is there a point at all this season you keep looking at the box scores or watch the games on Sundays and go, how the heck does everybody keep winning?
Yeah, I watch the games on Sundays if I can. Like last week, I was watching had the Eagles, Panthers on one screen and then the Vikings on the other. But I watch the games. I love watching ball. It is crazy that every team just keeps winning, and so all that tells us is we got to keep doing our job, just one week at a time.
Wayne, does that keep you guys on edge? Like you can't exhale, it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can never really excel in this league, but I know what you mean. With everyone winning, yeah, it definitely it keeps us motivated. It keeps us going. Sometimes this point of the season, you're like, all right, let's get to the playoffs. We can't wait for the regular season to end, but we got to keep going. We got to try to build this momentum up into the playoffs. I think that's the biggest thing. Try to see, where we're going to be going into the playoffs, whether it's the 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, whatever it is. But we got to keep going because everyone's winning.
How beneficial was this mini bye weekend after 4 and 18 days or whatever it was?
It was great. It was awesome. I think it was much needed for a lot of us, just to get our bodies back, get our legs back under us, get some sleep. Some of us went back home, get some, I think mentally too, to get away from the game a bit and see family, whatever it is. But now we're back ready to work, and we got a pretty long stretch, hopefully, in front of us.
I think you guys had a padded practice today, somewhat unusual for a Wednesday. Is that just keeping everything sharp, and how do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I love it. It's to keep that competitive edge. We hadn't been in pads in a while up to this point, so getting back on, we had a few days off, so a lot of us, our legs are fresh, ready to go. Get some competitive drills going, things like that, and I think there's no better way than to do it with the pads on.
Just how tough has it been missing these last 2 games? I know you hate to miss a second of anything, but just how tough was it to kind of pull back and get back to full or as close to full strength as possible?
Yeah, I feel like being an offensive lineman, it's always one of those weird things where when you're not out there, you feel guilty because you're not out there suffering with your friends. It's the worst. There's nothing worse, like when your health is keeping you from being out there. Like it's not like, I'm choosing to not be there sort of thing. Or it's the worst, as you can tell. It just something really bothers me. I was happy to be able to be at the game last week to at least be there with the guys. But ultimately, it was it's basically posed to me like this: you can try and be a tough guy and then miss the rest of the season, probably, or not probably, potentially, or you can let these people who have gone to school for 10 years do their jobs and do the right thing for you and for the team. Which I even told them, I was like, I can listen to you, but I don't have to like it. And Mike and Brett, I love them to death, but I even told them all along, I was like, I might be a little bit in a bad mood. I might be a little pissy about it, but I do trust you, and I will listen to you. So again, I love those guys. I think they've done a great job the last 2 weeks.
Do you feel notably better than you did a few weeks ago?
Oh yeah, the day after the the night of the Indianapolis game, I was hurting in the game, and I was hurting after the game, but I was like, I think I'll be all right. And then I woke up to go pee, and I couldn't walk. I was hopping to the bathroom on one leg. So I don't know if it was adrenaline or what, or if it just started the swelling and injuries kind of set into it. But feel much better. Yeah, there was zero chance I was going to be able to go Thanksgiving, and I like to try to be a tough guy. It wasn't going to happen. And then even the last game was kind of a long shot. So again, trust the guys that go to school forever to have their job and let them, do their expertise and try to get back in one piece.
Also put trust in your teammates because this team has not missed a beat since you've been there.
Absolutely. And then I'm sure Coach Campbell's hit on this, but Skip, especially this past game, phenomenal. He did an awesome job. Not surprised. Skip stepped in plenty of times. He's played guard, he's played tackle, he's played jumbo tight end. He's done a million things for us, and he always gives the absolute best effort of anybody out there. And then just from a team effort, I know Dan's probably said this as well, Campbell that is, we're going to go out there and we're going to win the game, and this is how we're going to do it, and it's what happened. It's exactly what we did. So it's pretty phenomenal. It just speaks to the type of player they bring in and kind of the culture around here. Again, the guys were just unfazed, unwavering, and that was one of the coolest wins, that Packers game that I've ever been a part of.
Aside from the talk of not playing, where's your level of optimism heading into this weekend with a pretty big opponent coming up?
For me personally, you're saying? I think I should be good to go, but we'll let the smart guys do the smart guy stuff. But yeah, I feel much better. Feel pretty confident going into this one. So yeah, just kind of progress, see how the week goes. Felt good out there today. Hopefully come in tomorrow, there's no issues, and just kind of hit the ground running.
We have not had a chance to talk to you since I believe you lost a friendly bet to Aiden Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm.
Will you walk us through maybe what the bet was and the photo op that came afterwards?
Yeah. So I actually gave him the point spread. I was that confident. I gave him 20 points. And the jersey helmet was my idea because I thought I was going to get him with it. I had a jersey in my locker already, and I showed it to him. So yeah, I deserve that. I did it to myself. Yeah.
What was it like when you saw that in his hand? Helmet, jersey, and okay, go ahead and put this thing on.
It wasn't in his hand. He left it in my locker. So I came back from the team meeting, and I was going into treatment because I was going to be out for the week, and it was just sitting in my locker. And actually, I texted him during the game, and then as soon as the game was over, he just sent a picture of the helmet to me. So it was, yeah. And it looked terrible. It was a terrible picture. I looked terrible. Oh, yeah. I didn't love it, but I'm going to be a man of my word, and I'll get him back one day. Get him back.
Any consolation that your team's in the playoff?
I don't watch a ton of college football, to be completely honest with you. I think the playoffs is going to be super fun to watch. I think we drew Tennessee. So I'll definitely watch the games, and I'm always, people are gonna hate this. Buckeye at heart. I was born and raised in Ohio. Went to Ohio State. So I'm always gonna support the team. It's not like I'm gonna watch every game of the playoff, but if I can watch the Buckeyes, I absolutely will. So it's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be kind of cool to see a team that you don't normally see come to the Horseshoe, come up there and play. So it'll be fun.
Were you getting it from Graham too?
No, actually, no, not much. No, I didn't really hear anything at all from Graham. Yeah.
Dan was talking about the culture of collaboration and how he tries to listen and the staff tries to listen. What has that meant for you?
I can tell you what it looks like for me is every single week, the offensive line puts down their 6 favorite runs, and Hank kind of compiles that into a list, gives it to Ben, and when we get our first 15 plays, it's pretty good bet that 4 or 5 of our favorite runs is going to be in that first 15 plays. I think Ben, as bright as he is, he's always going to tell you that it's about the players and not the plays. So he's going to run the plays that the guys like or they feel like they're good at, or he's going to put this player in a position to succeed or have him run a route that he's good at or a run that he's good at or a block. So that's what it looks like to me. That's one of the examples that I can give off the top of my head.
And how much does that come from Campbell? Just that culture?
I'm sure a lot of it does, but I'm just not in the meetings to see that. But you just see how our coaches are in the field, just asking for feedback on plays like that. There was a play out there today that I was talking with Ben with after the fact about what's the timing on that, blah blah blah. And one thing that I would say that I feel comes top down from Coach Campbell would be there's zero ego involved with any of the coaching staff or any of the players around here, and I feel like that comes from Dan because he doesn't have an ego about anything when it comes to doing things in this building, and that's what makes him great at what he does.
You might be the only NFL team without a quote unquote diva in any position. It doesn't seem like, unless I'm missing somebody.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking. You let receivers. It doesn't matter who gets the ball. Running back, same way.
100%. I think Saint even said going into this Packers game, he's like, if I have to dig out a safety on a run play 50 times, I'll do it. And that's a first-team All-Pro receiver saying that. And evidence on tape. We know that he will do that. So it's pretty special. It's a pretty special group. Speaks to the right type of people being here, and it kind of speaks to that culture that Dan wanted to build when he first got here. So it's a pretty amazing thing. I've never seen anything like it in my 9 years, as far as the selflessness and the lack of ego. But you can see that it can go a long way.